I never thought I'd hear from her again. It's been almost 6 months since we broke up. 6 months of silence, no calls, no texts, no nothing. At least that's what I thought. After all, she was the one who ended things, told me that she needed space, that I wasn't the one for her anymore. At the time, it felt like my world was crumbling around me. I couldn't understand why. I thought we were doing fine. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but it had its moments. There were the late-night talks, the lazy Sundays, the way she would smile when I brought her flowers, just because I thought those moments meant something, that they counted. But apparently, they didn't. One day, out of nowhere, she dropped the bomb. I think we should break up. I've been thinking about it for a while now. It was like being hit by a freight train. I didn't know how to react, what to say. All I could do was stand there, frozen, as she walked away from me. I didn't understand it then. How could she just walk away from everything we had? I spent weeks trying to move on. My friends told me to let it go, that if she really wanted to leave, then I deserved better. But how do you just let go of someone you thought you'd be with forever? We didn't even end on bad terms. At least not from my perspective. We didn't have a huge fight or anything dramatic. It was just over. For a while, I avoided social media, avoided the places we used to go. I wasn't ready to face the world without her in it. Slowly, though, I started rebuilding my life. I got back into my hobbies, spent more time with friends, worked on things that made me happy, things that I had forgotten in the whirlwind of our relationship. But then yesterday, out of nowhere, she called. Her name lit up my phone screen, and for a moment, I couldn't breathe. It's crazy how one name can bring back so many memories, so many emotions. I didn't pick up at first. I let it ring out, but she left a voicemail. She sounded nervous, maybe even a little hesitant. "Hey, it's me. I know it's been a while, and I don't expect you to pick up, but I've been thinking about us a lot. I know I hurt you, and I know I've made mistakes. But I was hoping we could talk. If you're open to it, maybe meet up for coffee or something. Let me know. Bye." Couldn't believe it. I just stared at my phone, not knowing what to feel. Part of me wanted to call her back immediately, to hear her voice again, to hear what she had to say. But another part of me felt betrayed. How could she just drop me like that? And now, after all this time, want to come back into my life? The hours passed, and I kept replaying her voicemail over and over. I asked myself, what do I want? Deep down, I had missed her. The thought of getting back together crossed my mind more than once during these months. But at the same time, I wasn't the same person I was when we were together. I had changed, and I didn't know if I could trust her again, or if it was even worth it. I decided to call her back. I had to know what was going through her mind. She picked up on the second ring, and I immediately felt that same rush of emotions I thought I had buried. "Hey," she said softly. "Thanks for calling me back." "Yeah," I replied, my voice sounding a little more distant than I intended. "What's going on?" "I've been thinking about you, about us, and I realized I made a mistake. I left without really understanding what I was walking away from. And I know I hurt you." I was silent for a moment. I wanted to say so much, but I didn't know how to start. "Why now?" I finally asked. "Why call me after all this time?" She sighed, and I could almost hear the guilt in her voice. "I don't know. I guess I thought I needed space, but I've realized that space wasn't what I needed. I was just afraid. Afraid of being vulnerable. I thought I could be happy without you, but I wasn't." Her words stung, but I couldn't deny that part of me wanted to believe her. She had always been a good person, and maybe she just needed time to figure herself out. But could I risk letting her back into my life? Could I trust her again? "Look," I said, trying to keep my emotions in check. "I don't know where we go from here. I'm not the same person I was when we broke up, and I don't think you are either. I think we both need to figure out what we want." "I understand," she said quietly, "but can we at least meet and talk? I just want to see you again. I'm not asking for anything more. Not right now. Just a chance to talk." I agreed. I couldn't promise anything, but I owed it to myself and to her to hear her out. Maybe we could find closure, maybe we could rebuild something. Or maybe we'd realize that some things are better left in the past. We set up a time to meet for coffee. I didn't know what to expect, but I knew this would be a turning point, one way or another. I had been hurt before, but I also knew that growth comes from facing uncomfortable situations. So whatever happened, I was going in with an open mind. But for now, I was left with one question. What do I want? And I still didn't know the answer.